Good day, ma'am, and good day, everyone. I am Babylin Servago, and this is my report about Chapter 8 entitled Good Life. Learning Outcomes. At the end of this chapter, the students should be able to number 1. Describe what good life is, and number 2. Examine shared concerns that make up the good life considering ethical standards in order to determine appropriate decisions to contemporary issues.
First, we have to explain what is right and good means.
An action is considered right when you are applying a norm, premise, presupposition, rule, and standard or law. The right thing to do in any event or situation is anything that adheres to something that is pre-established like laws and culture.
As long as something can be justified using those pre-established notions, then it could be considered right.
Actions are considered good if morals come into play. That sometimes morals vary from person to person, so it's widely inconsistent.
Therefore, this version of good, there is no absolute good. Another definition of good comes from Aristotle, where a consideration for entity is present as expounded by Jan Keynes. If we're considering human being as long as their life functions are fully realized, then it is good for them. But human beings have free will. Therefore, they should be able to think for themselves and act according to their own judgment. The good and right actions don't necessarily mean the same thing in most situations. Both may be at the opposite ends of a spectrum, and it is up to humans to judge to which action to take to satisfy the objectives set for as the end result to that action.
Definition of good life.
Where we focus on the 3 views on this topic. First,
Socrates and Aristotle view. The concept of good life should be the result of various experiences.
But to add to this is the importance of relationship, where one's experiences should be not just oneself but also within for others.
Stadler's view, a state that is primarily characterized by a high standard of living or the adherence of ethical and moral laws.
The good life is all-encompassing but just surface level, where it is characterized by high standard of living or adherence to ethical and moral laws. Now it's because one doesn't necessarily have to both to have a good life, and that's according to his view.
Martin Heidegger's view, he dealt more on how we live an authentic life rather than dealing with the good life.
However, he doesn't truly have a view on what a good life is, just for the authentic one. This is where one's purpose for existence is fulfilled with actions that lead toward that very purpose. That purpose is something that is individualistic and couldn't be any more similar to each and every person. The modern world doesn't different general view on the good life, though, where the development of the technology that ultimately leads to the improvement of the quality of life. People take this direction as where the good life is headed. Various diseases are cured, communication information sharing has been improving more and more, and the way of life is getting more and more convenient for you and for ordinary people. But through it all, there is no right or wrong definition of the good life, as it still remains questions for everyone to answer for themselves.